Now it's live. Yes, we are live now. Sushma ji, sorry for the delay today and sorry for the technical glitch.
It's okay.
Apologies. And welcome to the Learning Experience conversations that we have every Friday with our education fraternity and school leaders like you. We started this in the month of June because we thought let's make good use of learning and the communities that we at Rex Karamveer Mission have created. And so we are having three conversations on Mondays. We call them Experience. On Wednesday, it's Youth Experience. And on Friday, it's Learning Experience. Because we are learning with our school educators and, the plethora of learnings they bring about, like you have 30 years of experience in the field of education. So, welcome aboard. Namaste once again.
Namaskar.
I'm not going to delve too much into formalities and greetings. We are going to straight away dive into conversation. And because we've been delayed by the technical glitch today, apologies for that. But I'm wanting you to take me and the audience with you in your childhood and share with us your growing up memories of college, school days, and how those memories actually shaped you into, the person you've become and the school leader that you are.
I think childhood is something which comes back to memories with a pleasant smile on your face.
True.
And Itu, let me be very honest when I say that these that this kind of question has been popped up by you. I think after several years, and I am very happy that somebody popped up that question to me after so many years, and all these pleasant memories are rushing back. And I would like to tell you that I had a very pleasant and happy childhood, very satisfying, and I have very fond memories of my childhood. My father being in defense, we were like very disciplined children, in front of our father, like all children do, whenever he was there. So he would not let us sleep after 5 in the morning, and we had to see news with him on the only channel that we had in TV those days, and we were the ones who never wanted to hear the news, and we would rush to pack our bags, timetable, shoe polish, this, that, he would drag us and bring us back to the screen and tell us that news is important. But I think these days the scenario has again changed. Nobody wants to view the news. They are not news anymore. uh, I don't know what kind of things, because 24/7 they have to run these channels, and they show anything and everything, I think, which is not supposed to be shown on national television. But then times have changed, so we need to be with the flow. um, but then my father used to get transferred every 2 to 2.5 years, and we would keep waiting that where will we be posted next, and we would enjoy those people there, that religion, that culture, the kind of food, on a menu. So we learned to enjoy all delicacies of different cultures and states and festivals, and learned languages. And there was so much of exposure. Like, we were never the kind of people, that these days they say the child is not very confident, doesn't socialize. I think these were never lacking in all of us in those times. I Nowadays, socio emotional quotient, this, that, so many things are there. And even the mothers, are like, kya khaoge beta, they ask them. We were never asked. My mother never asked us what would you eat. She would put whatever she wanted to cook or get cooked, and it was on the table, and you had to eat it. So no nakhras, and no junk food on the table, and there was hardly anything that was brought from outside, everything home cooked. And I think we've enjoyed that phase of life, I think, to the fullest. And आजकल होता है ना, like if you have milk, तो इसको milk से allergy है, this, that. And if you would say that in those times, दूध नहीं पीना या problem है, the mother would say, "अच्छा, आपको slap भी खाना है और दूध भी पीना है, दोनों खाना है, सारी एलर्जी खत्म हो जाती थी." So I think the mother slap mattered a lot to us and scared us, although she never slapped anybody till date.
Yeah.
But the fear of that, thing, that something which you have never experienced, but she would say it all the time, that I will hit you. And she never hit us, but we were very scared. So all of us, and I think I think I was a born teacher. 30 years, I shouldn't say 30 years, I am now 50 years, I should say I've been a teacher for the last 50 years. So it was by chance that I became a teacher for my siblings. My
Mhm.
father would go out for temporary duties here and there, and he would give me assign the responsibility. It was, I mean, it was taken for granted that yeah, I'm there, so I will take care of them, because being the eldest, I had that responsibility to take care of their education as well. And those times, there were no PTMs and all this that happens today. I think was not there. So my father never ever ventured into a school. It was only my mother at times that she would go. Otherwise, my father never ever came to our school. And I think we're not spoiled kids. We are all we are all, me and my siblings, we're all doing very well in life these days because of his, I think, the discipline that he gave us, the kind of freedom we got, and the kind of responsibilities that were given to us at an early age, like we were taking off our mother also. He would say, "You don't trouble your mother, whatever you do, don't trouble her when I'm not there." So that those I think statements, made us more responsible, that father's not there, so we need to be more careful about things and all. And the kind of games and all we used to play, I think these days the children do not even know how to climb trees, and we were all the time
How
climbing
very
up and
great.
down, up and down. Yeah. For that instance, I remember we took our son to Jim Corbett, and my husband told him, "Ki gaadi roko, let him climb, and we'll see his skills." He couldn't. He was just looking at the branches from where to start. We had a good time there, but then finally we taught him how to do that also. I
Mhm.
think that the school days, because of these transfers, I studied in Kendriya Vidyalayas, KVs, and central schools, and Bal Bharti, and Air Force, and convent, and public. So whatever was closest to a campus, we would go to that school. There was no choice kind of a thing, ki idhar nahi jana, udhar nahi jana, nothing at all. Whatsoever, and whatever school was the closest to a campus, we would get admitted there, and we studied. And I think the kind of hard work that we did, and the kind of basics that the teachers made us learn in school, other than the subjects, I think the values were very, very important. You can't lie, you have to be very honest, you do not fight with your classmates or your friends around, and then do not speak loudly. All these were part of, I think, home and school both. It was not just the school. Like nowadays, the responsibility of inculcating values, education, socio-emotional development, as you say these days, all these new terms that have been coined are the responsibilities of a school. So once a parents gets, the children admitted in a good school, they feel now that their job is over, and it's all up to the school now how they do, and how they nurture my child, and how they inculcate these values in my children. I think my home is the first institution where your parents are your teachers, and from there you begin your education from day one. So the parents are the first gurus. So nowadays in these pandemic, when parents come to me and they say कि मैम बच्चे कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, ऐसे ही है, अब बहुत टाइम टाइम कब खोल रहे हैं आप स्कूल्स, बुला लीजिए उनको, हम तो फेड अप हो गए हैं। मैंने कहा बताइए, आप अपने बच्चे से फेड अप हो गए हैं, आपके आपको इतना प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है अभी, एंड दे वांट कि स्कूल्स खोल दीजिए मैम, हम लिख के दे देंगे, ओपन द स्कूल्स नाउ। So we said ऐसे हाँ, that is the kind of parents that we have these days. That is why I call these parents by different names at different times, because they are not ready for commitment, they are not ready for responsibilities.
Yeah.
uh, as they say, if you do not know a subject properly, you send the child to a tuition. And if the child wants to learn swimming, he goes for to a coach, to learn swimming, or take classes from there. But I think for to become a good parent, and how to nurture your own child, or how to help and support the child in his growing years, I think these parents do not know that. They are like, the Google is their guru, and all the time they take guidance from there.
Google doesn't have Google just has information which may be
Yes.
wrong or right. You have to be discerning. Sushma ji, you so many beautiful things came out of the discourse that we've had from your narrative is inclusivity, adaptability, and also the fact that I have seen that a lot of children from forces, a lot of forces wives take up education and are also education leaders, a lot of them. We've had so many at Rex Karavir conversations and, part of our fraternity. One of the reasons is that, they know inclusivity, they know adaptability, they've seen changes, and they've seen so much of, happening every 2 years, moving and proving that it makes them great education leaders. And also, you open up a very, very important discussion that we may have later is how parents need to be conscious. And, at Rex Kadamveer and in my personal work, there is something that we do which is called conscious parenting. That parenting is a very, very conscious, mindful, aware activity that starts the minute the child is born, or I think even conceived, and goes on till you're a parent. It never stops. And children see more of you or emulate you more when they see you doing actions, not when you're saying झूठ नहीं बोलना और यहाँ पे फोन आ गया और बोला कि मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ. So you sending mixed signals. So parenting is very, very conscious decision and a conscious exercise to be a parent. And the Holy Trinity, as we call it, Rex, parents, teachers, and school, they together they have to work in tandem. You can't say that everything is on the school, and you can't say everything is on the parents. And you know the parents are getting a little bit of taste of what a teacher goes through when she is dealing with 20, 30, 40 students in one time, and the parents have to deal with their one or two kids. So a lot to be learned from there. The schools
Yes.
have reached the house, the homes,
Yes.
and the rooms, and
Yes.
parents are part of the class now.
Yes.
So it's become difficult for teachers also.
It has become really difficult because they are judging the teachers now,
Hmm.
as if their only job is to judge the teachers, their pronunciation of words, the way they conduct themselves, and the flow of the content that goes on in the class, is there for them to scrutinize. They don't appreciate, most of them, and moreover, what happens is, because now they're observing the teachers, right away from in their rooms and in their drawing rooms. Now they've started saying, the कि ये pronunciation ठीक नहीं है इस teacher का, आपका ये नहीं है. So the parents, they came in a group to me, to my office, and told me that, ma'am, pronunciation. मैं कहा देखिए, अभी तक वर्ल्ड में कोई स्टैंडर्ड प्रोनाउंसिएशन डेवलप नहीं हुआ है, as far as my knowledge goes.
Hmm.
An American or a British person or an Australian, they will all speak in English but have a different accent and a different pronunciation to all words. So,
Hmm.
can you, in India, when the language changes every 20 kilometers, do
True.
you expect people to pronounce a thing in the same way that a South Indian pronounces or a Punjabi pronounces? A Punjabi, would never say station. Uska station hi rahega, you know.
Hmm.
आप कितना भी ग्रूम कर लो, ये थोड़ा अगर हायर लेवल में शुरू से इंग्लिश पढ़ा है तो एक इट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग. बट आई थिंक एक साउथ इंडियन, आप उसको बोलो कि व्हाट इज योर क्वालिफिकेशन, लाइक व्हेन आई इंटरव्यू द टीचर्स, दे वुड से एमए, यम,
Hmm.
they won't say m,
Hmm.
isn't it? So the
Hmm.
pronunciation doesn't have any hard and fast rules, man. So I just gave him some words, to pronounce, and he also pronounced it that, what to say, in his own mother tongue. When I told him that you also belong to this, and Sharma is always Sarma, it is never Shah nahi pronounce kar pate bahut log UP mein. So then he understood. Then मैंने कहा देखो, हमने, we have not
Huh.
told you to judge the teachers. हाँ, अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम है, कोई कंटेंट में प्रॉब्लम आ रही
Hmm.
है, प्रोनाउंसिएशन में एक दो टीचर होते हैं जिनका थोड़ा डिफरेंट होता है प्रोनाउंसिएशन, बट आई थिंक एज फार एज अ चाइल्ड इज एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड एब्सॉर्ब द लर्निंग्स, I think it's fine with you. It should be fine with you, and the child is okay as it is. So, at times there are a lot of funny incidents that happen during our tenures at schools. I would share an incident here. There was this girl when I was at TPS. She moved from London and did not know Hindi at all. So joined TPS,
Right.
and the first assignment, I think it was a simple dictation that was there in the class, and I think
Hmm.
she got a zero because Hindi she didn't know. After I think a month or so, a dictation was taken, and there were simple words, but she couldn't do. This little girl, how she took that in a positive stride. The mother said everybody got stars and good and ice creams and chocolates the teacher gave them, and you've got a zero. Do you know what does it mean? She said, I don't know what zero is, but I think the teacher ran out of stars and all other things, and she gave me a planet.
Oh
she,
wow!
she gave me a planet. So I think, and the planet is bigger than the stars. So the mother,
What a
next day she
beautiful
gave
way of looking at.
beautiful,
Yeah, what a
children.
wonderful perspective for a young girl.
Yes, preschool children, I think they're very creative on their own. It is we that
Absolutely.
it is the schools, I think, that kill all the creativity since day one.
Dumb them down.
A bolo, B bolo, C bolo. As soon as they enter the gates, we start dictating. कि ऐसे करना है, ऐसे करना है. Otherwise, if the child is left free, to explore, I think they have beautiful ideas and they're very creative, intelligent people. These
Absolutely.
little ones, especially. So
Absolutely. We dumb them down as if
yes,
we
we do that. We do that. It is, I think, we are responsible for killing their creativity, and then we say the child is not creative. When the
true.
child wanted to be creative since day one, you never allowed that. And now you want him to be creative when he's grown up without being creative. You've killed everything, and now you want him to, inculcate that creativity inside him. It was always there within. It was just that he had all the potential, but was never given the right environment.
True.
That is what I feel as an educator.
Yeah.
So
Sushmaji, you were your school and you were part of the you got the Rex Karambir award as an educator in the Rex Karambir Education Change Champion fellowship that we launched in 2019, and we also soft launched our international volunteering life skills scholars program, and that program talks of this, that every child has an innate potential. All we need to do is unleash that. And how the whole program is very, very beautiful and intensive program on how it is so important to unleash the heroic potential of every child. Every child has a unique barcode, a
yeah,
uniqueness, and that
yes.
uniqueness needs to be celebrated rather than dumbed down, as we were talking. And Shushmaji, you said you are. I wanted to ask you, are you an accidental teacher or a born teacher? But you answered that question that you were a born teacher. You've been a teacher forever.
Yeah. I think when I take interviews, the first question that I pop up to the teachers, because I also became a teacher by chance at DPS. I went to deposit my daughter's fee, and I was going to PTMs only initially.
Mhm.
And on the PTMs, I knew, because the teachers had a lot of parents to attend to, and I will not get more than 5 to 7 minutes with the teacher. So I would, jot down whatever I had to ask or clarify my doubts about my daughter's education, or be the formation of letters, or the content that was coming in the as worksheets, or in the exams. So I would write them down, in a very organized, structured manner, and ask quickly question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the teacher, and then move off. So the teacher, at some point of time, during some conversation that they give PTM, feedback is given to the principal after the PTM happens, in a group, all the teachers then give the feedback. So I think the feedback was given by for me also, that there's a parent who's very organized and structured. She doesn't talk nonsense, because these days when parents come up to us, what they ask, बच्चा दूध नहीं पीता, टीवी बहुत देखता है. अब टीवी बहुत देखता है तो हम थोड़ी आके स्विच ऑफ करेंगे. See, it is your job as a parent. दूध नहीं पीता, आप बताइए. अब ऐसे स्टूपिड वाले क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं ना पेरेंट्स आके, मुझे लगता है व्हाट टू आंसर. हमारी नहीं सुनता है. सो आई वुड से, आपकी नहीं सुनता है, या तो बच्चे के कान खराब है, चेक कराइए, या आपको ठीक से सुनाना नहीं आता है. क्योंकि बच्चा सुनेगा नहीं, वो आप जो करोगे वो देखेगा, वो एमुलेट करेगा, वो इमिटेट करेगा, वट एवर यू आर डूइंग. इफ यू आर नॉट रीडिंग, why will the child read?
True.
Isn't it? You're watching a serial and you're telling the child to study. Will he go and study? He might move from that place, but he will not study. That is for sure. So you have to become an example. You have to lead by example. So a
Absolutely.
teacher, like I also became a teacher by chance, but then I made it a choice. I said, once you're a teacher, then you cannot be a teacher by chance forever. You have to get into it, become passionate, because this is something where cheating is not allowed. You can't cheat children while educating them. So you have to be passionate, you have to be hardworking, sincere, dedicated, because you are dealing with a life wherein you are trying to shape the future of that child. And tomorrow when the same child meets you, and if he's unsuccessful somewhere in life, how will you, how would you end up feeling?
True. It's
You
a
will,
mix of
it
passion
is a big
and
big responsibility, I think.
and
So
it's
from chance to choice, then it became a choice.
yeah.
Very soon it became a choice for me,
Mhm.
and then I did what I had to. And I proved that in a very short while in the school also. I took up the responsibilities, and I took up lot many projects, like the English conversation was a serious issue there in the school, that children need to learn because they are NDPS, and their parents have put them so that they learn English as a language. So I said it's just a language like Hindi. And when I started using simple things with the children in conversations, they just learned it like that
Yeah.
without knowing what grammar is all about.
True.
So when you're speaking in English to the children, and you're putting in vocabulary, throwing 4 5 words every day to them, and then you building a story on them or building statements for them, I think that makes a lot of difference to the
Yeah.
children.
You also have to live the language, think in the
Yes.
language, and then the
Yes.
language kind of
Yeah.
you can ace it then, as they say. um, your experience as a school teacher, as a educator, as a school leader, I'm wanting to ask you that, do you think character is important or competence is important? Because in the times that we're sitting, children become the sole carrier of the aspirations of their parents, and
Yes.
they put all their aspirations on them, also the aspirations of the society. And I
Yeah.
think this whole trend of marks and percentage and going to certain colleges and 100%, 99%, which was unheard of. And I don't know, how do we prove that, and where is the end to it? And getting 100%, getting a degree from wherever, does it make you a great human being or just helps you to move forward? So what do you think, and how has your experience been? And I think you did touch upon that earlier. So tell me, what's your experience been like that, about these marks and competence and not character, which is kind of
See, for me, character is trust. All
mm,
right. So, trust and respect, commitment. When you say competency, competencies are always acquired. Some are innate, some are inborn, and some have to be acquired during the journey that you have. You experience a lot of things and you acquire a lot of competencies. But I think both are important for me. You can't leave out one and focus on one and become a good leader or a good teacher. So character and competency both are important for a person, whosoever is an educator. When you say educator, it's a huge, huge responsibility, I say. Why I say that? Because for me, educating children is just not a career or a job.
true.
It is not. It is building a character for a lifetime. You are impacting the child, and you never know where the impact lasts. What's the beginning or the end of the impact that you are having on that child? And see, once you're standing in front of 35 to 40 children and teaching them, they consider you as an epitome of knowledge. They
Right.
feel whatever my teacher is telling me, they are innocent students, innocent lives that are there in front of you. So that kind of dedication, when you see their innocent faces looking up to you, and admiring you for what you're doing for them, I think that feeling, I think, is more than any reward that you can get. These rewards and awards don't matter. I think that you can say that look in their eyes, with
Yeah.
innocence, when they see look up a teacher,
Yeah.
and when the teacher explains to them, they feel they are sitting amidst, in an environment where a guru is teaching them, and she knows everything and anything. So as far as children go, even when if the teacher says something wrong also, they don't trust anybody. If the mother says, nahi aapke teacher ne ye wrong karaya beta, nahi nahi meri ma'am ne karaya right hai, aap galat ho. So that is the kind of trust they repose in us. So we cannot take any chances there, and
True.
we cannot take teaching as a career. So for me, I try to eradicate the marking system right with Sharon, because Bharatram was already affiliated to CBSE, and there are certain norms and guidelines. But when we put up our own family school, of which you were talking,
Mm,
with Change Champions, so that was, I think, an opportunity for me as an educator, that
mm,
I could experiment with a lot of things for children there. So for the pre-primary kids, we had these activity classes wherein they did not have any formal classrooms as such. They learned everything through activity. It is not that you involve activity all the time without any objective. There has to be an objective, which the children do not even come to know of, that we are in a classroom and we are learning these things, or it's a vocabulary or alphabets or whatsoever, or names of animals, all those things. But I think children learned in a way, it made them happy. And when this augmented reality classrooms, we had this augmented reality wherein they could really experience an um, a lion roar in front of them, as soon as you place that, and it roars, and children would get frightened, so that was really amazing to see the classes come live with this technology. And I think if technology can be is a help at hand and can enhance the children's learnings and make them happy as well, I think there is nothing like it. So we used technology to the most there, and they were assisted and supported by their teachers and mentors. I won't call them teachers, because they were their mentors and guides there, acting as guides, teaching them all little habits that they had to learn during that time. And they just learned, happily. I think they were never forced ki nahi aaj ye learn karna hai. And I had all stopped all assessments. I said you can assess them on everyday basis. You need not to have a particular time to assess them. I think assessment, as far as that comes in, assessment is for learning. Assessment as learning and assessment of learning, there is a difference between these three. And this I always took up as in my trainings with my teachers, that what are they going to assess, how are they going to form the rubrics. And without the parent and the child knowing that they are being assessed, they were assessed.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody came to know that the assessment went off and how it was. Because for a child, the basics, I think, the learning outcomes, the learning objectives and the learning outcomes should match. If you have decided on some objectives, then the outcomes should match those objectives. It is not that you are teaching anything randomly and you don't have any you can say any structured pattern for them, or an assessment for them, and you just go assessing them. Aaj rhyme hai to aaj sare bacche rhyme hi suna rahe. No, it should not be that way. Rhyme hai, you are teaching and the children are singing along, and going along, and some child is saying it very beautifully. The other one is still in the learning process, so give the time for every child to blossom. As they say that, every child is gifted, but it depends on the child, that when will that gift open. So let us have patience as adults, and let them blossom at their own time, because every child will blossom at a different time, like flowers. So for me, that is very important.
Yeah. I also asked you this question, because we at Rex Karamveer believe, and we have these live stories of, real stories of these ordinary human beings that are there in the Karma Kari books, or the new book that has come out, Jerry's Kid Power Karma Kari. He's going to talk about it later. That prove that, it's the resilience, the character, the innate potential, if watered, like the roots when watered, then the fruits are going to be already, always good. And I think competence has a big question mark. I don't say that it's not important as well, but in the times that we are sitting now, in the absolutely uncertain and ambiguous times we have to recreate ourselves, reinvent ourselves, and children need to be ready for life skills, not just have degrees, or not just have marks, or not just have percentages. So that is very, very important, and of course that is our core area of um, mission and as a vision that we would want to take forward with the school children. And it's also been a very focal point for us in every mission or every endeavor or initiative that we've worked on. Susmaji, you also have some of your driving quotes, as you call them. I'd like you to talk about them, because how have they helped you kind of to shift the mindset of the students whose life you've touched?
Yeah, my driving coach, first quote, that my father would often say to
Hmm.
us, that he would always say that it is not your attitude, It's your aptitude which will take you to your altitude. When we were young, we were like, yeah, attitude, aptitude, altitude, patati, what he keeps saying all the time, we would never dare to ask him what do they mean, but he would always say that first deserve, then desire. The second quote we used very commonly, and I think often
Yes.
on an everyday basis also was first deserve and then desire. So
Right.
that I think has gone deep into my system, I think. And if you don't deserve something and you start desiring, that is disastrous in life.
True.
That is, I think we need to teach our children. But the kind of parents we have today, they are, I call them, some do like a helicopter parenting,
Yes.
कभी कभी उनको याद आता है that they have kids, and they need to be bothered about them and talk about them in school. Acha, when there is a PTM, they'll make sure that the husband and wife both are there, and both are not at the same page also. And they are never on the same page, husband and wife both. She will speak something else to the teacher, and he will say something else to the teacher. So that is a problem, that they are not in tangent, even with the two of them. They're not at the same level, on the same page. And moreover, the father would always talk about sports, and the mother would always talk about academics. She's more worried because she takes the children's marks as her social status. She has to flaunt those grades to her, you can say, to her kiddie party friends or to the social circle that they move around, which school your child is going to, what grades is he getting. So
That's what
that becomes so important for them.
yeah.
uh,
Aspiration.
I say that these children, they are lives which need to be handled with care. They are not your prized possessions. They are your children. Fine. They have come through you,
That's it.
but you don't own them. So do not decide things for them. Let these children explore their own potentials, move on in life, and learn what they really want, where their passion lies. Plus, our education system, I'm telling you, I don't know. It's been ages. It hasn't changed at all.
Hmm.
Like Jerry talks, about politicians. So the politicians are not worth being called politicians because they do everything other than politics. And education is also in the hands of, I think, people who do not know anything about education, because they have the kind of money they invest in schools, and they make them productive centers, I say, productive
Agree.
centers. And the educators who are there, because of their humble backgrounds, and you can say lack of money and investment, that they don't have that those kind of resources, they have to go by what these people say, the ones who are called as managements. Because
I
they don't
totally
realize that somebody who's an educator for so long, has put in so many years into education, would have a different opinion on certain things. Then they expect these principals or leaders, to go by what they say.
hmm.
That is the tragedy of education, I tell you.
I know what you're saying. I know. Let me come in and give you some anecdotes on that. Very
Yes.
eye-opening anecdotes on that. Yeah.
Yes, I have myself experienced a lot, because I've been advising managements, and I'm on different school boards also here, quite a few of them. But when I see the kind of knowledge they possess about education, I feel that why did I at all get associated with them, because they don't know what education is all about.
But I'm
They,
glad you're talking about it, and I'm sure you must be voicing your opinion hard, which is
of
the need of
course,
the hour, which is very great, and which brings me to my next question, is about the national education policy. You've been part of it in some ways. Tell us about it and how
yeah.
what's it going to
See,
be like, and the implementation, because it seems nice in a lot of ways, but there are a few things that probably how is it going to be implemented is something. So tell us the nuances that you know from the inside, if you can share.
the only worry I think which the Minister of Education has right now, like we had a seminar a few days back also with them, and all these people who were into making of this new education policy, which was due for quite some time, rather overdue for quite some time now. And a lot of good people, in the field of education, with a lot of experience, have put in their thought behind each and every aspect of NEP that has come in. But again, as I have worked with Quality Council of India, and that was Dr. Abdul Kalam's dream, to bring in quality into all schools, be they government schools, public or private schools. But then that I think that endeavor fell flat because it wasn't implemented in letter and spirit or in the true spirit. What happened was they gave this accreditation to an affiliating body, that is a CBSE, to get all their schools accredited. So now what happened there was a conflict of interest. An affiliating body cannot give accreditation.
Hmm.
All right, and because it was already an affiliate school for them, affiliated school. All right, and accreditation is a third party assessment. So
Right.
the schools were not ready for a third party assessment because they felt, because the schools mostly here, Itu, are people driven, not system driven.
I know.
So when things are people driven, अच्छा एक अच्छी principal थी, उसने बहुत अच्छा किया, बहुत अच्छा school चल रहा था, she went and after that everything collapsed. That means the systems were never in place in that school.
The processes and systems.
So, and I don't think I need to go into that, that what CBSE affiliation is all about and how do they get it and what happens there. I think
So no of the
every school gets it, whether it should or it should not.
yeah,
That's
it
another
becomes
question.
a very deep rooted gangrene.
It is. So now I think with NEP, what they have done is they have, decreased the importance of these boards,
Hmm.
which was really the need of the hour, because they became like a supreme body, AI, All India board, and this board and that state board, this board. Now there won't be any importance given to the boards, because now I think all the importance, you can say, or the uh, assessing of the children is with the school.
Right.
It's with the school, with this when I say this, because these pre-primary, you can say, daycare, pre-primary 2 plus 1 plus children, going to these schools, now they would all close down. Once NEP is implemented, they would run out of business here,
Yeah.
because a lot of preschool branches had come in, and like
Packets. And
yes, they were
business,
like,
as you were saying,
yes,
mushrooming everywhere.
mushrooming everywhere, cropping up here and there. There were hordes of them around schools, and then they would tie up with the big schools, after class KG or prep, because they will be going to class one. They would tie up and earn money for a per student. We will, take this amount and give admissions, this and that. All the new schools, do all that. I don't want to go deep into all those things that happen in education. Jerry knows, and he's brutally honest when he says all that.
Yeah, yeah, we all know
I
it.
keep
Yeah,
hearing him, yeah.
yeah, yeah, he will.
And yes, so so 10 plus 2, this board structure would be dropped from the NEP, and up to 5 it is all preschool. And then in the new education policy, they have made a provision wherein the parents would be given guidelines how to handle children till the age of 3 at home, and teach as well. That's called Bal Vatika. That's what I'm saying. If all this NEP gets implemented in the true spirit, there is nothing like it, Itu.
So a
We
lot
will,
of participation.
lot of participation from the parent,
Parents.
and the schools will also have to get involved. Like now from 6th onwards, we're going to begin vocational courses,
Hmm.
wherein the local artisans, and the local people, craftsmen, would be invited to the school, or the children will be taken to them. So by the time they leave their school years, they at least are adept and have become proficient at least in one vocation, one skill. Because right now, even if they have studied till, post graduation, they are not up for hiring anywhere. They're not hired by anybody because they don't have any skills as such. So these children are exploited as interns,
Hmm.
although they make them do all sorts of jobs there, but they are exploited there.
Hmm.
So I think this will reduce these vocational skills. At least they'll be able to take up any of the skills as they could, nurture that skill as a business venture for them, or it could be anything in the later years what they do want to do with that. So I think that is there. Then the new teacher training board that has been set up. I always said that B.Ed is hardly anything. It is not a teacher's training. Let me tell you, it is just a degree on paper, and teaching is something which has to do with the person's own passion. You cannot train somebody to become a good teacher from going there. That is a journey from good to better, and from better to best.
True.
And there are no levels for best.
True.
You keep reaching your levels, there are different tangents to being the best. But I think there is always a scope for improvement in everybody, be a child or an adult. And I think so there would be a teachers training board which would be there. So I'm very happy. Then there are multiple entry and exit points for the children. It is not that because of some reason you dropped out for a while, a person sick at home, or you moved or got transferred, so you can't pursue. You'll have to pursue it from the beginning again. So now that has also been eliminated. That has been eliminated, and the children are free. If they are not liking something, they can leave after a while. They would get a certificate. Then after 2 to 3 years, they would get a degree, and after that, they would get a certificate. So various levels have been created, for children. So I think that would help them a lot. But then again, like accreditation, it should not fall flat, because yeah, when we talk about NEP, in accreditation, what happened, the training was given to the principals.
Hmm.
And what happened, the principals never had that kind of time. They can go back and train the teachers.
True.
That what accreditation is all about, a third party assessment, and you have to formulate different systems. So
Right.
even if a person moves out of from anywhere in the system, it is taken up by somebody else.
Okay.
So it would be a totally absolutely system driven
Okay.
organization.
I hope all this happens because our constitution is very beautiful. Our laws are very beautiful in place. In writing, they are wonderful.
In
But
writing, I think Indians are the best. Indians are the best to document things.
when it comes to
Documentation is too good.
implementation, the law is not there.
Implement When it comes to implementation, Itu, sorry to interrupt you here, it is the willingness that matters.
Yeah,
Even the governments do not have the willingness to implement all the laws that exist in India, I think. The
absolutely.
kind of,
That's a very
yes.
interesting point for me to invite Jerry into the conversation. He's joining us now at the at this part of the conversation today. I think it's absolutely pertinent to invite him and take the discussion forward, because this is something that we've been discussing with all our uh, you know teachers and school leaders that we've been. So Jerry, waiting for you to come in and join us in the conversation. Inviting you at a very warm point in the discussion.
Right, I heard that. Namaste, ma'am. How are you?
Namaskar, Jerry. How are you?
Namaskar. All good, all good. So I believe you have moved and joined Ryan Group, is it?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And how's that going?
It's going good. I won't say great, because I had just joined and this COVID happened. I joined in
Right,
November.
right,
In March, this COVID happened. So there were quite a few lessons that COVID has made us, I think,
right,
learn
right, right,
and realize as well that what is important in life and what is not.
right, right. Surely, I hope, I'm sure, very few people like you who learn. Most of us don't learn.
I think learning, unlearning, and relearning.
Right,
I think for an educator, I don't call myself a principal. I always, even outside my office, I have this chief learning officer. I'm the CLO. So people say, why CLO? I said, I am the first one to learn, and only then I can pass on my learnings to my staff members and the people around. And I feel that this is a ongoing cycle that keeps happening in an educator's life. That you keep
right,
learning things, after some time they become obsolete. Then you unlearn. They don't want to carry them forward, and then you relearn. You acquire new things, you learn new things in life, and then you adapt to them. You have to be with times.
right, right. Excellent. I was just listening to her and I said, it sounds like all that we speak at Rex Karmavir forums is like um downloaded and now being uploaded back to us.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So I guess we can safely plan our retirement now because
Of course, Jerry, of course. I think, and that's very important. Like, as they say, that a true educator never even bothers what kind of money he or she is going to earn in a
right, right,
teaching career. What is more important, I feel, is the kind of passion you have for education. If you don't
right,
have that education, then I think it's a crime, it's a sin to be in education.
Right. No, that's what I start my teacher training programs with. That if you're here for a job or for a profession or for even for a vocation, then don't be here, because
It is not a vocation also,
teaching
I
is not a
think.
vocation. Teaching is a
Yes.
passion, right? So you have to be here because you truly believe in what you're doing. You truly believe that you can. So our flagship teacher training program is called not just teachers, but enlighteners, awakeners, and transformers, because understand the pride, potential, and power that you have to see, touch, and change the future
Yeah.
by influencing the mindsets of young children
Yes.
to walk the path of righteousness and doing right, and
Yeah.
becoming better human beings, becoming better citizens. But that said, unfortunately, it's easier to teach the children, like Frederick Douglass said, easier to build robust children but difficult to mend broken men. And the point is that no matter how much we teach the children, until and unless we don't address the teachers, and more so we don't address the parents, that change won't come.
Yeah, because in my orientation programs, I always, when I speak to the parents in the orientation program, I always speak to them that what kind of parenting, because I think every family as a parent has a different notion about bringing up their children. They either learn by emulating their adults, their parents, how to bring up their children, or the latest being the Google, like my child is not walking, so they look up the Google 1.5 years child walking or not walking, that
Mm,
kind of.
mm,
Then
mm.
they rush to the doctors, and doctors make a fool of them, कि नहीं नहीं अब तक चलना चाहिए था, this that, and I have coined a term for today's parents also, like they are the parents, that love at first sight and divorce at first fight. That is end of their parenting. They forget the children
Yeah,
also.
and
Their children.
I think that is their space about, because I mean, I wouldn't want to get into that aspect of it, because that is their space. But the point is, there I wouldn't say that there is a fixed format for parenting, which means that 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 and parents and people should understand this, not parents, because even people who are not parents today are going to be parents tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think it's an essential skill for everyone. But what is the essential skill about? It's about values, it's about principles, it's about character, right? And just to I think you got the order wrong. Your what your father downloaded to you, it is not your aptitude but your attitude that will take you to an altitude, right?
Yes.
Aptitude is competence, attitude is character, right?
Yes.
You can have a wrong attitude also,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can have a bad attitude also,
Absolutely.
right? So it is that what he's talking about, that it is that character, because all that learning, now otherwise every gumba from Harvard and IIM would have done something stupendous with their life. What do
Mm.
they end up doing? They end up doing a 9 to 5 job
Yeah.
and living in that rut of life, right? And doing some jiggery pokery for some company or the other. That is the truth of most educated people, because end of the day we are trained to be slaves to the Fortune 500 companies and the MNCs,
Yeah.
right? Because we'll go for engineering, we'll go for medical, then we'll end up either selling soap for PNG or Hindustan Lever. So why did we go for engineering? Why did we waste that seat? Why did we waste that seat in IIT, which is at taxpayers' cost? I pay for it. You pay for it. All taxpayers of India pay for it.
Yeah.
So what is the reason that so that itself is corruption,
It is.
that you went for an engineering seat when you had no intention of making a contribution as an engineer. You only went because you wanted that IIT thappa.
Yeah. And I think it's the same with the MBA degree also. They do
Abs-
masters in business administration and they don't do business. They go for a
MBA
job.
is the biggest con of the century.
I think that's the most
M-
abused degree, I would say.
I'm telling you, MBA is the biggest con of the century. I always say that, to err is human, To pass the buck is what they teach you in MBA.
Yes.
To pass the buck, to pass the blame, to pass everything wrong as right is what they teach you in MBA. So MBA is the biggest con of the century, and people have fallen for that degree because that is the most peddled degree
Mm.
by most
Yeah.
universities, right? Why? Because MBA means opportunity. Go to ISB, I am worth 45 lakhs of rupees. So people live with that kind of entitlement, right? They're not worth anything. I promise you that. It's just that they have a degree called ISB, and it's a well marketed thing
Yeah.
by, that's how it was done by
Yeah.
Rajat Gupta when he started it, that I will use all my influence and contacts and get ISB in the top 10. So at some point they were in the top 10 teaching what? 1 year postgraduate diploma
Ah,
in business management, which is
yes.
as archaic as it
Mm.
gets,
Mm.
right? So so what are you teaching them? You're just teaching them how to push paper, how to build profit and loss accounts, and that's about it. So what's the rocket science in it?
Yeah.
वो कोई भी बनिया आपको सिखा देगा. I mean,
Yeah.
Ramcharan teaches lessons from the streets of Rajasthan, where his father and
Yes.
his uncles
Mm.
had a shoe shop, right?
Mm.
So any dukandar can teach you profit and loss here.
Yes.
खाता ही तो है ना?
Mhm.
And then these guys take it so seriously that they think they're saving the world, and they even
Mhm.
burn themselves out. Like one of the guys I coached, Rudrajit, who was the CEO of BMW.
Mm.
One morning, dead and gone. What
Mm.
is his age? 48.
Mm.
A week before that, and I added this in my book, the Mojo Inspirator book, that let this be a learning.
Mhm.
And I remember telling him and telling Ranchan Barua way back that, Bhai Sahab, you're not saving the world. You're just running a profit and loss account. CEO title hai yaar. Kya hai title
Yes.
mein? So
Uh,
why do you make the statement that you sleep 4 hours a day? I said Modi make that statement sounds good. वो बोलता है टाइम मैगजीन में, वी नो मोदी स्लीप फॉर 10 hours a day. I mean, where
yeah.
sleep for 3 hours a day? कुछ करता तो है नहीं, है ना? देश
Yes.
देश का तो मतलब पूरा दिवाला निकाल के बैठा है. So what are you sleeping 3 hours a day for? आप जितना सोओगे देश के लिए अच्छा है. तो 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 so what I'm trying to say is that all these guys take that see that Ranjan Barua also used to say the same thing. SAP,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? He was with SAP. I had not coached him, but he had attended a talk of mine in SAP long back.
Mhm.
And after the talk, they have their Nagin dance and their cocktails. Nagin dance is the most popular
Yes.
dance in
Yeah,
offsite,
I know.
right? I mean, all those guys can put Sridevi to shame. That's the other thing you learn in MBA, right? How to do Nagin dance after a few drinks. Right? So Nagin dance chalte chalte koi ek Bollywood ka singer tha. He came up to me and he said, Cherry, I really liked your talk, but I can't agree with all of it because you spoke about life, play, work balance, and this is I've always had that काम होना चाहिए, but the work is not first. Work has to
Yes.
come last, right? Life comes first. Life can never be second to work,
Yeah.
right? And
I
play
think that
comes.
COVID has taught us. COVID has taught
So
us.
I've been talking this for 15 years.
Yeah. Nahi,
15,
nahi, I
15,
think
16
now
years.
the people have started realizing because I
No,
think
no, 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 no. They are not. They're all chumps.
maybe they'll forget after a
They
while.
they've already forgotten. They've already forgotten.
I see that. I see
Yeah,
in the malls, on the roads, in the
yeah,
way
yeah.
they travel.
They have started coming out on the streets without masks. So
Yeah, yeah.
one way I feel it gives them some kind of thought that they are very brave or courageous, because problem है
They,
because
नहीं नहीं, they feel उनको नहीं होगा.
तो वही
उनको
बोल
नहीं
रहा हूँ
होगा.
ना, they feel very brave and courageous, that they are beyond any. So
I
so
think
so so Rudrajit's sales head lost his life just 1 week before. Within a week, now you got to this is a great learning for people. Within a week, a sales director of BMW dies, and in less than a week, in 6 days, the CEO dies, which means that there is such a high stress in that system,
yes.
thanks to slave drivers who are just selling cars.
Hmm.
They're not saving the world by any means. In fact,
Not at
they're,
all. Not
they're,
at all.
they're, they're adding to the destruction of the world. So
Yeah.
what are you so serious about that you had to lose your life at such a young age? Because it's all stress related. It's all sleep related. It's all health related. And they don't even realize that the stress is killing them. So I always use this line with them, that don't take yourself so seriously. So I remember Ranjan also came to me in the evening and he said, Jerry, I'm a teetotaler. I don't drink and all, but I I I sleep 4 hours a day, 4 hours. I said, you should get some help. And rightly so. One morning he collapsed and died. This teetotaler, health freak. And later when they researched it, they realized it was a sleep disorder. Now,
Oh,
many people have sleep disorders because they're insomniacs, so they cannot sleep, right? That is fine. That is a medical condition. But if you take yourself that, you're saving the world for 20 hours a day, including people who are saving the world in the true sense of it, right? Which could be activists or crusaders. I say, dude, get a life. If you're not having fun, you won't last too long. That's why life, then play, then work. Because that's what we've written in our book. And the other thing is that you need to teach this to parents, because parents are what? Parents are also the same corporate career
yes.
mules, hai na? Because it's not their fault. They've seen their parents like that, right? And the bigger problem is that there's something which you said and which I'm going to give you a pushback. I think teachers per se should be trained more than parents or others to become mentors,
Yes.
which means that you don't just teach children by rote, because what we teach most children is ratta maro pass ho jao.
Uh,
That is the basic medium of education today. Let's face it. Let's own it. NEP आए कुछ भी आए वो बदलेगा नहीं.
because India में इतनी you can't expect changes so soon and so
No,
early,
it's not about changes so soon.
because
हमारा mindset वैसा है, because parents will put pressure on you for percentage. तो अब percentage तो रट्टा मारे बगैर होगा नहीं. अगर लोगों को इंग्लिश में 100% मिल रहा है, it's a scary thing. English is a language. How can you get 100%?
I don't know, the CBSE, I don't know what is it doing these days,
So that's what
when
I'm
I
saying.
got 70%, 72% in class 10th, we celebrated, we enjoyed. I think my teachers were so happy. But nowadays, you get 100 and even then the parents say, उसमें भी 100 आना चाहिए था, उसमें भी 100 आना चाहिए था. What are you going to do with that?
If you write English verbatim from what you're reading in a textbook, so where is the expression? Where is the creativity?
I don't see any creativity
Right.
in
So
the language.
but now I'm not holding the parent liable. I'm holding the educators liable, because
The
what?
system, I think.
No, not the system. I'm talking teachers. Putting the problem on the table. The problem on the table is the principals, not even the school owners. School owners बहुत ही गए गुजरे हैं.
That's what I was sharing with you
School
too.
owners, I worked closely with. I mean, seeing the quality of school owners, I was disgusted.
Disgusting, disgusting.
Right. But more disgusting are the principals who are subservient to the school owners, who are
Yes.
sycophantic with the politicians.
There are very
Now,
few principals who question
principals,
these
yes,
people.
principals, educators, teachers should have all been empowered, that walk with pride, walk with
Yes.
dignity, where the mind is without fear and the head is held
Yes.
high. And in every opportunity, a PTM is not to tell, okay, good, your kid has got 80%, good. No, a PTM is supposed to be a place where you mentor the parent.
Yes.
I don't see teachers doing that.
Because
Because
teachers themselves do not.
so how will teachers do that when they are not trained to do that?
Yes.
So therein lies the problem. That is what I
Yes.
want to tell you. That therein lies
Absolutely.
the problem.
Absolutely.
The यार report card है तो marks तो दिख ही रहे हैं ना, तो marks क्या discuss करने हैं?
Maybe some parents go as far as saying, इतना आया है, paper भी दिखा दो.
नहीं,
इससे कहाँ
no.
mistake किया है?
So in the PTM, teachers should be trained to ask parents the right questions.
Right.
What are the values that you're teaching him at home? Can you tell us more about that?
Jerry, as far as values go, I think when I take interviews with parents for admissions, what happens? I ask them, how do you spend quality time with your children? What is your way of spending that quality time? They इसको मॉल लेके जाते हैं मैडम, इसको या पार्क में लेके जाते हैं. I mean, ये quality time होता है. I ask them.
अब तो वही तो है.
They don't even understand what quality time is all about and how do they, handle that quality time with their children. They are not aware.
But I think
Going to mall and a movie is not spending quality time.
The other problem that we have is that on one side we can keep blaming the parents and the
Yeah,
education system and the educators. On the other side, our problem is our population.
yeah.
Let's not forget that. We are not Finland. We are not New Zealand. We're not
Our netas
Australia.
go, no, whenever we talk about education, they go to Finland, have a good time there, come back. तो यहाँ तो
No,
infrastructure ही नहीं है.
but
So
therein lies the problem, and that see, the problem is that you have so many forums which are organized by all the nincompoops of the world who don't
yes,
understand the E of education,
yeah.
and then they say adopt the Finnish model. Finnish model cannot work in India.
Never ever it can work.
Finland has a population where they're attracting people. Please come, please come. Please,
Yes,
we will pay you
yes.
to come to Finland. हम बोल रहे हैं लेके जाओ यार यहाँ से लोग.
I know.
So
I know.
we are a germ race. That is, like I say, we are not a rat race anymore. We are a germ race. So the next generation are are germs. They're not rats. The current generation are rats. Are you getting what I'm saying? So
Yes,
how can we
yes.
blame the rats when they cannot see a life for the germs?
Out of experience, Jerry, I've realized that, there are three apples that have changed the world. One is the Eve's apple, the Adam and Eve's apple. The other is a Newton apple, and now the Steve Jobs apple.
Hmm.
Which have made all the difference that is going on in the world around. With
And
there
on
are a few things that we could say positive about them.
and on all three counts, we are wrong.
Yes.
Adam's and Eve's apple is such a myth, and and that's why I say that Christianity is such nonsense, because if Adam and Eve were the first couple
Ah,
and they had two sons and then a third son, how did reproduction happen? There's some problem,
no idea.
right? So
Like in
there is
Mahabharat, Mahabharat,
no,
Kunti had all her
I
sons
won't comment on
dropping in.
Mahabharat because I have a Christian name. The Bhakt log piche lag jayenge. So I'll make a comment on Adam and Eve because I have a Christian name. Not that I believe in the religion, but that
Because,
I'm asking you common sense, no? That if Adam and Eve were the first man
yeah,
and woman on earth, and then they had two sons called Cain and Abel, Cain was killed by Abel, and then they had Seth. So if that is the case, how did they reproduce? There's a big problem here,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so I won't use the word then to describe what I'm talking about. I'm sure you got the drift. So
Yes,
Adam and Eve's apple was a big lie. Newton's apple is a story. I'm sure that he put in a lot more work into it to discover
yes,
gravity
yes.
than just an apple falling. And the third apple has not saved the world at all or changed the
Not
world.
at all, not at all. That's what I say. They made a lot of.
If you're a cult of Steve Jobs, then I pity you because I mean,
No, I am not. I'm just
Steve
saying they.
Steve Jobs for me was a sorry loser. So people who believe in Apple
I
products,
also have read about him.
I always say
Yeah,
that we are a nation of mango people using Apple products in a banana republic. That's who we are.
absolutely. That's true.
Complete
That's true.
fruitcakes. But on the
Yes.
positive note, I think what is positive is that कहीं हमारे DNA में कुछ तो अच्छे संस्कार है. And I think that's what keeps India going. But yes, it hurts very much when Indians are mostly seen as jugadus and fixers around the world and not as professionals. So I think we all have that responsibility to reclaim that professionalism and preserve it. That we are not fixers, we are professionals. We are not scamsters. We are people who do things the right way. But when you have a prime minister who's like that, when you have an entire leadership which is like that, be it in business, be it in politics, then why blame the kids? Why blame the parents? Because they
Yeah.
also have to survive.
Yes.
So it's not a positive note, but I'll just give it to them empathizing. I wouldn't even say sympathizing.
That is
Right?
what. That is
Yeah.
what it is. So I
Survival
think
is
when
okay.
we,
So it's
yeah,
survival.
when we, I think talk about what teaching is all about, it's about empowering children, giving them opportunities, and teaching them what equality is all about. That they treat others with dignity and respect, love and compassion. I think this
Absolutely.
is what I think teaching learning process should be all about. And The other tangents that we talked about, in this, I think, in this forum, are all the ones wherein, a lot of frustration has set in up because we have been part of the system for a long, long time. And now with the NEP coming, there are a lot of high hopes and expectations. That's what I was sharing with Zitu before you came in, that
Right,
I don't
right.
want the NEP to fall flat on its force, like the
और
way accreditation fell apart.
और वो तो होगा. मैं एक बहुत ही डेंजरस ट्रेंड देख रहा था.
हाँ.
एक बहुत ही बड़े फ्रॉड बंदे हैं who had done a big fraud with and I won't name him, with an आप गूगल मार सकते हो. 1 लैपटॉप पर चाइल्ड इंडिया का उन्होंने मतलब पूरा मतलब आईपी वाईपी मतलब फ्रॉड करके made
Okay.
some money and done things like that.
Okay.
Now he started some new edtech venture. और एडटेक वेंचर में उनके एडवाइजरी बोर्ड पे मैं देखता हूँ कुछ नाम. चलो वो सब नाम तो ठीक है क्योंकि वो तो वैसे ही है, धंधे वाले हैं, जो करना है वो करेंगे. पर उस पैनल में मैं देखता हूँ JS राजपूत का नाम. यू रिमेम्बर JS राजपूत, राइट? NCERT में कुछ थे वो. ठीक है. तो now when the entire system is co-opted, how can you expect good people
something
to be
good
in
coming
it?
out of it? Yeah.
So most of your people who are running education ventures are mostly frauds. चाहे वो शांतनु प्रकाश हो, एड्यूकॉम का एवरॉन था, और आज की तारीख में बायजूस है. पूरा फ्रॉड है.
I know these stories, Byju's ka, तो I keep hearing a lot of things.
तो अभी तो खुल रहा है. तो जितने भी IIPM था उससे पहले अरिंदम चौधरी, और उनके में बीच में और कॉमन फैक्टर ये है कि शाहरुख खान इज द ब्रांड एम्बेसडर.
I know Byju's. See, these people just earn money, they're hardly bothered कि क्या values इसके behind है, क्या ethos है. Nothing.
Right.
Those things don't bother them.
But I can go on. But the whole idea is that when they are outspoken people like you, then there is hope for the world.
Yes.
Thank you
Jerry,
so much.
I call a spade a spade. Even
Very
if
good.
the people don't like it, doesn't
Very
matter
good.
to me.
We need more people like
very,
you.
very soon you will see me doing things, beyond what I do right now.
Very good.
And I am, yeah.
As long as you're not planning any assassination of anyone.
Although I'm a jat, I get angry very easily at times when I see something wrong happening or not.
Mr. Modi should stay secure and careful. आपसे पंगा ना ले वो.
He will always stay safe because he has so many people around him, all the chapchas that are there around him.
Right. Z security.
Yeah.
With Kangana Ranaut's Y security.
Yeah. So children are children, and as I would like to wind up with a little poem that I have. I got it from somewhere.
Go ahead. We've done so. Please. Smoking insights and namaste and thank you so much. Please
namaste,
conclude
namaste,
with your poem, ma'am.
It is about children. When Neetu asked me about marks and grades, how to do away with them, and how are the marks and grades irrelevant to the children when they pursue different careers in their future. So it's about that. The topper of the class is a happy homemaker. Backbencher of the lot is an entrepreneur. The flamboyant fashionista became a dreaded lawyer. Often ignored Joe turned a well-known writer. The one who failed in maths paper is a fashion designer. And the one who often got to stand outside the class is a respected army officer. The reunion taught me how people come with many layers and told me why we should never judge a book by its cover. Each child out there has a different success story.
True, very true. Absolutely.
So I really loved this and I kept it,
very nice. Excellent, ma'am. Thank you. That I completely agree with that thought, Hannah.
Yes.
So that's what.
Thank you so much, Sushma ji. Wonderful, wonderful having you with us. And sorry for the initial glitch and the technical glitch that we had today. But wonderful having you as our Rex Karamveer Fellow. And lovely time sharing and learning with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Where do you stay, ma'am?
I am staying in Ghaziabad.
Okay, excellent. Great. So have a great evening and have a great Diwali. All the best.
Thank you and same to both of you.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you.
Keep safe, keep healthy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.